What's up, guys? In the works, and we are playing in the Viper today. And a lot of you guys wanted to see some vehicle gameplay, and I was like, in the interest of variety, let's mix things up a little bit here. And a lot of people have asked me lately about Armored Kill and the AC-130 and all the new vehicles that are coming into play. And I was like, this would be a perfect video to talk a little bit about the vehicle balance in Battlefield 3 and Armored Kill in particular, and my kind of thoughts on the AC-130 and how I think it's going to kind of change the balance of vehicles. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about this game. And my pilot, Sweat, who is a pretty awesome pilot, we do a pretty good job of communicating here. We are playing in a low population server. I found that I've been having more fun in lower population servers, 8v8, 12v12, maybe 16v16, but even then it gets a little bit crowded. I find that the best squads win in those situations because it's less focused on, who can clog up the alleyways with the most bodies, who can get in there and just kind of get a ton of people in there, spam grenades, spam explosives. And it's more focused on gun skill, more focused on positioning. And I've been having a lot of fun in these low population servers. Now, I will point out that the ticket count was a little imbalanced in this. I think it should have been more on 75 as opposed to like 100. I think that would have been more fair considering it's only, I think at the height, I think it's 10v10 at some point. But whatever, we had a pretty good game. The team we were playing was actually pretty solid. A lot of them were trying to shoot us down, and honestly, when other teams are trying to shoot me down, that's when I get a rush from playing in the helicopters. That's why I enjoy it. It's like you always have to focus on, timing your flares properly, getting out of the range of the Igwas, the javelins, the SOFLAMs, and that's part of the excitement that I get from the attack helicopters. I think it's a lot of fun. A lot of people are like, oh man, Igwas and javelin SOFLAMs are cheap, but honestly, it's kind of what keeps the attack helicopters in check, because in my opinion, they are what dominates the battlefield. They are the kind of the epitome of vehicles. If you don't keep the attack helicopters in check, they'll completely run rampant on your other team, and you'll often lose games because of it, especially on Wake Island. If you're not doing a good job of keeping this out of the sky, or at least keeping it back from the main objectives by locking onto it, this thing can really cause some damage. And that leads me to my next point, which is the AC-130. And a lot of you guys have asked me, AC-130, do I think it's going to be overpowered, underpowered? What do I think? Well, I think DICE is in a tough spot. Because if you think about it like this, if you make the AC-130 too weak, if you make it just absolutely useless, all it's going to be is a giant target in the sky. I mean, it's just going to be a giant, motionless, easy to hit target. But if you make it too powerful, it's going to completely dominate all other things. And I think the important part with the AC-130 of keeping it a balanced thing is making sure that jets have the advantage over it. Jets are more nimble. I think that that's what's going to be key in keeping it balanced by the team. You're going to have your jet pilots focus on the AC-130 if you lose that objective. There's no doubt that a lot of people are going to camp and wait for the AC-130 to spawn, but I think if you have good jet pilots up, jets are more nimble, they're going to have better maneuverability, they're going to be able to get behind the AC-130 and kind of counteract that dominance it's going to have over a lot of things, because I think that a lot of the attack helicopters are going to be at a disadvantage when fighting the AC-130, considering it flies so high. The gunner is going to have a hard time in a Havoc or a Venom, kind of sitting there and trying to destroy it. And speaking of saving us, Sergeant Merrill did a pretty good job there. We were down to 1%, and he saved our Viper. So I applaud him for that. That was quite the heroic landing by Sweat and quite the awesome repair by Sergeant Merrill. But like I was saying, it flies so high, the gunner really won't have a good angle on it. So helicopters are going to be at a severe disadvantage. Obviously, tanks are going to be at a huge disadvantage. Considering that I don't know if you're going to be able to lock onto those. I don't know if it's going to be even plausible to even consider hitting the AC-130 with a tank. I'm sure at some point we'll see someone get some awesome tank AC-130 takedown, but like I said, if DICE doesn't do a very good job of balancing that, I could see it being where the AC-130 just completely just dominates the airfield and makes it so that it's almost impossible for ground troops or ground vehicles to get any sort of leverage on the other one. So I'm interested to see the direction DICE goes with that. I know a lot of people are kind of worried about that. I think the AC-130 will be a lot of fun. I think, you got the 105mm cannon that's going to kind of protect it versus jets, if a jet's trying to ram it or something like that. But at the same time, it's not going to be, agile enough to be completely dominant over jets. Obviously, if you have a good jet pilot, they should be able to take it out no problem. So I'm really excited for the AC-130. I'm really excited to try out some of the new vehicles. And I want to see where the old vehicles fit in because we're getting that new tank buster thing. I want to see how that kind of counteracts the Amtrak, because the Amtrak is an absolute monster. That thing, it can take a lot of shots from the front, and if not used properly, though, people can really waste it. And I see a lot of drivers out there that just kind of plow in with the Amtrak. In fact, I was playing in a game last night where we were down to like 12 tickets. We had them pushed back. Our Amtrak was pushing forward. The guy decides just to fly into the objective, and he completely wastes our Amtrak, and we lose the game. And I see that happen all too often, and it's kind of frustrating, honestly. It's like, the Amtrak's there to play a little bit. It's a tactical tool. I mean, if not used properly, it's really easy to take out. If used properly, it can be a complete pain in the butt. So I think it's really hit or miss if you get a good Amtrak driver on a lot of maps. 'Cause I know a lot of you guys don't like the Amtrak. You feel like it's just too powerful, but I can see that argument, because if you get it in the right positions, if you get it in the right area, you can really change the flow of a game. But I don't know. Let me know what vehicles are you guys excited about for Armor Kill, because there's a lot coming to this DLC. There's a lot of changes that are going to be made, and I'm curious to see what that actually does to the balance of power in Battlefield 3 in terms of vehicles. Because like I said, I think the attack helicopter really rules the day. I think a good duo in the attack helicopter really kind of just dominates the game, as we kind of did here. If it wasn't for us, I feel like we really pushed them back pretty far. I mean, they did get some good Igla shots on us. They finally did take us down, because with only 2 sets of flares, if you get 3 people shooting at you, it's almost impossible for you to stay up in the air. But I think I ended up going 25-2 in this, so a pretty decent run. If you missed any of my last videos, now's your chance to catch up. First, I have a video on the SV98 and why I love it so much. We're actually playing some hardcore in that one, so a lot of you guys have requested to see some hardcore gameplay. That is the video for you. Or if you want to check out another video, I talked about what is the worst weapon in Battlefield 3 and why I think it is the worst. That's a pretty funny video as well, so check either of those out, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.